that we...
So in hindsight, it does look a bit ropey. But at the time, they were groundbreaking.
But it still works. I
Yes.
mean, I'm into my 3rd generation of fans. I've got new 5-year-olds coming in.
And the other thing, of course, is that when you haven't got a huge budget, which you never did, you have to rely on good script writing and good stories and good invention. So the Doctor has to find a way of getting out of a situation that doesn't use a mega blaster, which is what you use or call it what you will, in the big films now. He had to use trickery, evasion,
That's right.
cleverness.
Yeah.
Tell us about your fans. I mean, you still hear from them.
It's extraordinary to me. It never ceases to amaze me that, I mean, in the early days, you know, I'd have the 5-year-olds, because we went from, when I was in it, it was sort of very much a children's program. Sort of about halfway through, they suddenly doubled in figures and went to 75% adult viewing. So then we were into the older. So I've now got the grandfathers, their sons, and their grandchildren. And so quite often now, when I do the occasional convention, you know, 3 generations come up for an autograph, and I think that's just wonderful.
And have you done conventions around the world?
Yeah, this is my
States.
This is my first visit to the Southern Hemisphere, but I've been to the States countless times. Must be
Are they big on
40 or
Doctor
50.
Who?
They were. It's been off. No new product has been made for 11 years. While it was still ongoing, it was fairly huge. In terms of, it was a limited market. It wasn't mass market. It was only on the PBS stations. But there were, in every city, hundreds of people who were devoted to it. I mean, it's not like people watch it casually. You either watch it and adore it, or you don't watch it. And so I once, with Patrick Troughton, who was the 2nd Doctor, he and I signed autographs from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until just after midnight, in 11 hours of signing autographs, when 16,000 people turned up in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I mean, it was quite extraordinary.
It's amazing.
But clearly, now the programme has a defined end, as far as we're aware. It might come back. As soon as there's no new stuff coming, people gradually fade away. Yeah. But there's still a very, very strong fan base all around the world.
Do they still send you money for it appearing around the world?
Send you money? Yes. Send money into this address, please.
No, I mean, not the fans, but do you get paid royalties?
Oh, yes. Yeah. The BBC and all sorts of, comic books and... I mean, it just keeps arriving, and it's a lovely little treat. It's actually paid for my daughter to go to live in London, and she studied musical theatre at Covent Garden. And I must say, most of it, because it was in English pounds and the Australian dollar was pretty low, has been very useful.
You're quite lucky, because in the days when you made it, they didn't realise what the future sales were going to be like. So the contracts, they were very generous for an undefined future, because they thought it wouldn't happen. The idea of repeating programmes, Now they know it's going to happen, so the contracts are much... I don't get a huge amount, because they know, they knew when I signed the contract that it had a huge market, so they...
Yes, of course, you see, we just started that, when suddenly John and I found that we got mobbed.
So you probably do better out of it than I do.
Hit her up for a loan.
I know.
Oh, I wish.
Exactly. But you've continued because you've done some CDs.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
That's a very nice idea. The BBC is finally, because they're a bit tight on their rights. They don't want to make it themselves. If somebody else says, "I quite like to do it," they go, "Well, no, you can't have it then, because if you want to do it, it must be worth something." Yeah. So we're not going to let you have it, but we're not going to do it ourselves. So eventually, they have been persuaded to allow new stories to be made with the original actors, but on audio. And they're being released on CD, and of course the sets are wonderful. I am exactly the same as I looked then, which was slimmer and blonder and curly hair. Fortunately, my voice is not too dissimilar. The monsters are the scariest monsters you ever heard.
A friend of mine writes some of those.
Terribly, terribly well. And I've done half a dozen of them now. And funnily enough, on the plane on the way over here, because I've never had a chance to listen to them, I don't get 2 hours to sit down and listen to a BBC Doctor Who drama, and I listened, and they're very good.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Yeah.
There could be a role for me.
Definitely.
With a voice like this.
Whether your voice is ideal for audio, I'm not sure.
There'll be a new kind of monster that talks like this.
Exactly. I think I could have a whole new career.
The Silenturian.
We'll work together on it, kiddo.
Hey, darling, we will.
We're both blonde.
Indeed.
Yes.
Are you natural? No.
It bleeds from silver into this beautiful colour that you see upon my head.
Mine's natural.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know. Nobody would do this deliberately, would they?
How come you're in Sydney now, or in Australia?
I'm a little international gypsy, me. I'm queen of the plastic bag. I go from country to country. I've just been living in the States, and then I wallop back to London, and then I'm back in Sydney. Well, I sort of seem to be getting jobs everywhere, so I just sort of, wherever the gig is, I go.
Right.
You know, and at the moment I'm constantly working in Sydney, so I can't really leave for a minute.
And they have trouble with your name being Katy.
Yes, apparently I don't exist as a Katy. They want to see it as Kathy. You know, Katy is spelt Katie, apparently. But in England, it's a proper name, isn't it,
Yeah.
Katy?
And here, it's not.
Well, of course, we're in a very civilised country. Hello.
Exactly.
We're in New Zealand, you know, where you, as I say, you have off licenses, darling. And, you know, I did a play here once, and the Australian company, who were all very famous soapy stars, right? Nobody'd heard of them here. So I had to do all the publicity all by myself for the play. And then the Australian company sent me out all the time. They said, well, it's all right, send Katy out because they understand her.
What was the play?
We were doing a thing called Mother's Day, which is we were doing a circuit of the Hyatts. So I did it at the Hyatt where we're staying at the moment.
Right.
Which is, you know, terrific. I love New Zealand.
Yes.
I love being here. Colin likes it now.
Do you like it too?
Yes, I've barely been here a few days, and I haven't had much of a chance to look around yet, but I've been up One Tree Hill.
Oh, good. Well, minus the tree.
Minus the tree, and I stood on the stump. It's a very sad story. I have this brilliant idea, which has probably been had by somebody else. Find a local sculptor who sculpts in bronze or metal, and make a huge metal tree and put it up there that nobody else can
But put some sort of, you know, but you've got to have some little shock device. So if some little nasty who really needs to get a life.
Because there should be a tree on
Right.
One Tree Hill.
Exactly.
And so that when they touch it, it's, you know.
Because in Britain, you've got that big statue. What's that called?
That's the Spirit of the North.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like
Did you do that again?
The
With that
angel of the
voice?
But it's brilliant.
It's great, isn't it?
Just outside Gateshead, as you drive up to the north, is this huge, wonderful metal kind of... I mean, it's like an angel, but it's not an angel. It's a good modern sculpture. And I think that's...
I think it's a terrific idea.
That's what we should leave behind us, you see.
Yes.
As I was saying to somebody else earlier today, politicians, sorry guys, all you politicians, I'm sorry, but 100 years, 200 years from now, you'll be forgotten. What will be remembered is the music, the art, the sculpture, and the works of the imagination. That's what matters.
Doctor Who.
And I'm afraid Doctor Who.
Like, when you die, would you like some memorabilia in the coffin with you?
No, when I die, I want everyone else to go as well, sorry. So they won't need any memorabilia.
I'm going
No,
to
I
medical
think I'll-
science, and my whole body will be scattered, you know, do what you will with it.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Every bit of me, which is, I've got lots of metal, so that's good scrap. But everything, no, I'm definitely giving my body
Look at
away.
all the fingers, they'll
I
sell
don't
the
want to pay
rings.
for a funeral. You know, all these people working out their funerals before they... I don't know why I'm getting into this, but it really upsets me when my body can be used and it
Yes.
won't cost anything.
Well, it's a good idea.
No, what, I'm going to pay to die?
And I could donate my larynx.
Now, that would,
Absolutely.
I think we found out an awful lot
Yes.
from your larynx.
Yes, you have.
Yes.
You're now going to be doing those 0100 calls.
I am. Yes, indeed. It's been wonderful, and thank you for looking after me today. And next time I see you, I'll be in full voice.
You must ring me up sometime. I won't know who it is. Who's this woman on the phone?
Well, I think you're wonderful to do the show.
Yes,
You're
so do I.
welcome.
Yes.
Great pleasure to nearly meet you.
Next time, baby, it's all on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katy. Thanks, Colin. Coming up after the break, some more people to look after me. But first of all, happy birthday